I'll make it easy on everybody, and I'm just going to go down the row, starting right to left, and we'll have everybody introduce themselves. So, Kent, I'm going to start with you.
Thanks, John. Kent Knight with Elkis Manfredi Architects. We were involved in the New York Genome Center as the architects for that design.
I can remember. Brian?
Hi, I'm Brian Aroney. I'm a Senior Vice President with Hunter Roberts. You were introduced to some of the projects that we've been involved with by Jimmy a little earlier, but I've spent most of my career building laboratory buildings around New York City, and most recently these 3 projects at BioBat and the New York Genome Center and Stem Cell Corporation. I've had the pleasure of leading those efforts.
Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris Wirch with JB&B. I'm an associate partner, and I worked with Brian and company on the New York Genome Center. We were also involved with the New York Stem Cell Foundation and 375 Pearl as the MEP engineers.
Cleet?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Cleet Casper. I'm Director of Real Estate for Sabi Corporation. We were involved on the IT side with the New York Genome Center and have been working through the adaptive reuse of 375 Pearl, otherwise known as the ugliest building in New York.
By the way, it's much prettier from inside. It's the only place in New York you can't see it. And Lois.
Hi, I'm Lois Mate from Ennead Architects. I'm an associate partner there, and we were the designers for the New York Stem Cell Foundation Research Institute.
Awesome. Okay, so Kent, why don't we start with you? And so what does a scientific company look for when they consider leasing space? What do the users, the scientists, really want?
Well, I think we've talked a lot today about connectivity, not only in their workplace with the computers, but also face-to-face connectivity with their colleagues, with people doing like science, and also just connectivity in the live, work, play environment that they're in. They want to have dinner, have lunch with their colleagues, and get together. I did bring, John, just a couple slides of Genome.
Sure, I love Genome. It's one of my favorite projects.
Let me just take a few minutes and introduce Genome for those of you that may not know about it. It is in the Hudson Square neighborhood, right at that corner, right near Tribeca and Soho on Avenue of the Americas. This is the entrance that we were able to create to the building. It's about a 25-story building. It was completely repurposed. There had been unions in the building, window washers unions, et cetera, that occupied the entire building. Minskoff, who was the building owner, completely, when the unions moved out, he completely renovated the lobby, destination dispatch elevators, new restrooms. And Genome, as you can see in this diagram, took basically the first 7 floors. On the first floor, they have their own conference center and cafeteria. There is a mezzanine at the back of that floor that serves for meeting space as well as some of the lab functions such as the minus 80 storage for the cryo storage. The second floor we have mechanical space and some space yet to be fit out. The third floor is where the J labs are going. Fourth floor is all research lab space. The fifth is the genetics labs, the sequencing labs. And the sixth floor is bioinformatics. The top floor, the seventh floor, which has the roof decks, is for their executive offices. This is one of the sequencing labs. We had some challenges with floor-to-floor height as well as the structural load. We met those by actually reinforcing the slabs and doing an open ceiling concept where we could. You see through the glass panel the sequencing labs, which do have ceilings. But flexible lab casework, overhead utility carriers. The sequencing machines there in the bottom corner. In the other slab, the research lab space. You see, if you look closely, some of Chris's handiwork with the chilled beams there, which saved on overhead ductwork height. And then what we've all been talking about is the important breakout spaces, whether it's the roof deck, the boardroom here, these sort of soft seating collaboration areas for breakout meetings. And because the floor plates weren't that large at Genome, we actually interconnected every other floor with communicating stairs. That's just a quick overview, John.
Okay, so just a couple of things. One, I obviously have a lot of friends in the room, but for people who don't know me, my name's John Mechanic. I'm the head of the real estate group at Fried Frank, and we had the pleasure of representing the Genome Center in going to 101 Avenue of the Americas. As just a footnote, when Genome was looking for its space, there are actually very few spaces where the zoning in New York actually permitted the use that they were looking for, so we had a limited set of alternatives. We're actually looking for an alternative space. We got down the road, but couldn't conclude there, so we had a very active landlord in Minskoff in chasing us. We were a great use and great for him repurposing the building, so he chased us to come there. And then it turned out that there were many aspects of the building that were actually suitable for us, and the zoning was suitable for us. The zoning has since become more user-friendly for this use, and so it's there are a greater variety of places that people can go to, and other people can speak to that. But I thought I would just kind of footnote that. And one question, Ken, a lot of the things that you talked about don't seem very different from other users. When you talked about connectivity and collaboration spaces, I mean, I represent a wide range of tenants, and when you're talking to architects today designing their spaces, you have that being discussed in not just biotech, but in all kinds of different uses. Do you find something that's specific with respect to biotech that's different from those things in terms of things that you're looking for when they're looking for what space they're going to?
Well, I think you're right, John. It's true these days that the world is more and more connected. I think what makes life sciences unique is their specific requirements. It's much more demanding than just office space. So as you just pointed out, they can't really go anywhere. So they're limited in locations they can look at. So the buildings that do suit their needs, some neighborhoods may be better than others.
Okay, Brian, what building qualities and characteristics are most important to ascertain compatibility